Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Full Press Hockey Weekly here on a Wednesday night. I'm your host, Jim Berenger, alongside rocking and rolling again with my tag team partner, Chris Wassel. Chris, what's going on, buddy?
Hey, happy holidays, everybody. We're just a few days away from Christmas, and we may or may not be getting ready for Christmas here at the Wassel household.
We may or may not be, but you can find this show every Wednesday night, except for next week because we're off for the holidays. I got holiday plans. We're gonna go off next week. We may come back the following week. We'll see what's going on. But you can find this show here on Twitter at Full Press NHL. You can go on YouTube at Full Press NHL at Full Press Coverage. You can get the audio version on iTunes, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. And we're back and better than ever here Wednesday, rocking and rolling. Jam-packed show before the holidays. Obviously, Hanukkah's here, so I just want to shout out to everybody who celebrates. Happy Hanukkah to everybody. Yo, Brandon, what's up? What's going on? Go Avs. They got a big game tonight against the Canadians. That should be a fun one here on Wednesday night. It's a loaded card. Every night it seems like 7 or 8 games here as we go into the holiday break. And the holiday freeze is on in
Yeah,
the National Hockey League.
yeah, no moves till the 12:01 a.m. on the 28th. So, yeah, we got a week to go. Just a little less than a week to go here. You have moves to make. Well, I got some bad news for you. Can't do it. Yeah.
Well, you couldn't do it anyway.
No, you can't do it anyway
You
because
can't do it anyway.
that,
So, I
that,
mean,
that, that's it. I mean, it's funny because we're still getting for those that don't know, Cap Friendly has been spitting out these cap projections pretty much all week, and it's kind of amusing. I mean, you're seeing teams that have like $36,000 in cap space on a given day. I think I saw the other day. I know it's up. It's up now, but at one point the Leafs only had 47,000 in cap space. It's now a few 100,000 since they made the move with Malgin. But it's kind of amusing. I'm not going to lie. And it's also not amusing because, as Nick Alberga best says, let's make a trade. Well,
can't do it.
can't do it.
You can't do it. And I know this is a little cross promotion. Hopefully, our producer doesn't mind. I mentioned it. Go check out. Wait, first, go check out fullpresshockey.com for my insights of the week. They seem to do really well. People love them. Get good feedback. I did put things up from the Board of Governors meetings that happened, which was the salary cap. Also, NHLrumors.com. Mark Eason did something about the salary cap today. And the big thing is to me is like if you want to make a move, you can't. But we're talking about like doing different things, which we'll get to in a minute. We talked about the expanded playoff last week. This week we're going to talk about a potential 84 game schedule, but we'll get to that in a minute. Chris, I brought up to you early in the season, you and I did a full press NHL podcast together. And I brought up a question to you. Tom Brady asked a question in the NFL. He talked, is it just bad football? And he mentioned it, right? I brought up the question to you. Is it a lot of bad hockey, or do we actually have parity here in this league? Because we're going streaking a lot. Players are, teams are. We're not talking about that kind of streaking, people, all right? Don't worry about it. It's a fan-friendly show. But it seems like one week one team's going on a big heater, another team's going on a losing streak, and it feels like it's just like so many streaks around the league. Doesn't feel like it feels like everything's going to balance out, but at times it feels like there's just a lot of bad hockey.
It's a little bit of everything. I mean, we're getting simultaneously, literally, good hockey, bad hockey, and ugly hockey all at once.
Great movie, by the way. Good, Bad, and the Ugly, Clint Eastwood. So
classic spaghetti western, folks.
exactly, absolutely. I believed it was filmed in Calgary, so I'm just
yes,
saying.
this is the funny part. Sergio Leone filmed this movie in Alberta, large parts of it in Alberta.
Yes, he did.
Crazy but true. All right, all joking aside, though, it's been. I mean, some of this has been downright ugly. Looking at some of the teams. I mean, obviously, Columbus can't catch a break. I mean, now Chinkarov is out for 6 weeks with a high ankle sprain. I mean, if they didn't have enough injuries and were bad enough as it is, it's now gotten even worse. Um, you know, you look at other teams. Anaheim can't get out of its own way defensively. You know, they get an occasional win here and there, but again, ugly hockey. Uh, a team like Vancouver gets booed out of their own building again this week. I mean, there's a lot of bad teams playing bad hockey, but there's a lot of good teams playing good hockey too. So it's kind of like it's not balanced though. Let's
No, it's not.
it's not balanced because you have basically on a given week you have about 6 to 8 teams that are playing really well. You have another 6 to 8 teams that are playing pretty good, and then the rest we're not really sure what's going on.
There's so many teams in the middle, like New Jersey, for instance. I'll bring it up because of my background that I have right now that I sit in front of every time we do this. You have they're going on a third. They went on a 13 game heater, but it's all for naught because they're on a 6 game losing streak, which could be extended to 7 tonight when they play the Florida Panthers for the second time in as many days. And there's a lot of bad blood in that game. But it seems is it the old Denny Green we they are who we thought they were kind of press conference, and I wish we had that audio because it's just R.I.P. Denny Green because man that guy, the legendary press conference, but he was just a legendary coach. And I know this is a hockey show, but Pittsburgh Brethren, the Penguins on a heater. Franco Harris, rest in peace, great legendary player, immaculate reception, 50 years in 2 days. They were going to retire his number. Just sad and tragic, but everything ties together because everybody's a brethren. But it's just so crazy to think that I think this is a team we thought they were, but they were overachieving and taking advantage of their schedule. But I think teams have figured them out and how to play against them.
There's a little of everything going on because there's numbers to indicate that this is kind of a streak that should have ended a few games ago, to be fair.
Right.
But at the same time, it's a young team. We've mentioned this a few times before where teams that break out like this often have like sort of these stumbling blocks where they go on these streaks, for a lack of a better word, and in this case, this is no exception. Unfortunately, this year everything is more amplified, like we said, because of the way the schedule has worked. And the schedule did work in the favor of the Devils the first quarter of the season. That's where we're at, and now it's a little bit tougher. You kind of find out what the team is, and to be honest, are the Devils still a playoff team? Right now, I mean, based on the numbers, they are, but they're not. They're not in the
trending that way.
They're not in the upper echelon, and right, they're not trending that way. And the reason why they're not trending that way is they're not getting that extra save that they were getting during the first 20, 25 games of the season.
I would not only say the extra save, but I would also say defensively the breakdowns that you saw a lot of last year are rearing the ugly head again this year. Simple mistakes and turnovers are now back in the back of their net, which weren't there earlier in the year. And the time and space that they're giving, guys are just again injuries. No Palat. I think if Palat's in this lineup, I think this ends a while ago. Bastion not being there.
Bastion is a big one.
I think Bastion's the biggest one because their fourth line is just not what it was, where it was physical and fast and could give you energy and change a game. They just don't have that. And not to harp on the Devils. You stay in the Metro, right? Pittsburgh went on a 7 game losing streak. Then they went on I believe they're on a 7. They went on a 7 game winning streak. The Rangers went on a 7 game winning streak. Carolina's on a 6 game winning streak. Capitals have won 7 of 8. I mean, the Metro is probably the best division in hockey right now, and it's just not only there. Yeah, again, not only there. Look at Buffalo. Start hot, lose, then get
coming back
again with them. And then you go to St. Louis in the Central. It's like, okay, franchise record losing streak, franchise record winning streak. lose again. It's just a roller coaster. But as we said, I think from the beginning of this thing, it's an
Yep.
82 game normal season again.
And there's adjustments. I mean, look, and teams have not properly made them, and that's part of the reason also why, let's face it, these streaks are becoming more amplified. These runs are more, because you look, like, for we use it here wagering wise. There are teams that you can feast on because you know that they're just going to, for the lack of a better term, they lost 1 or 2 games. They're probably going to lose a few more. And it's kind of worked out that way, weirdly. I mean, look, there's some teams that have taken it to a level that is frightening, like Chicago.
Yeah, it's real bad.
You want to see streaking in a really ugly rated triple X way. That would be none other than the Chicago Blackhawks. 114-1 in their last 16, outscored 73-30. In the last 7 games, I think it's like 31-7. I mean,
It's awful.
there's no way around this. And look, I know it's Christmas, it's time of good cheer and goodwill and all that. But how much longer is it going to be before those little tiny whispers coming out of Chicago are full out like "Get me the hell out of here"? Quote
I,
Patrick King.
I think that comes in the new year. I think the fact that they started so well.
Do you think it's going to come right off the bat, or are
I think
we
it'll.
gonna
I think they
are we
wait
gonna
till
wait a
after the
little
Winter
bit?
Classic. I think they wait till after the Winter Classic. I think that's when they give the spotlight to the game. Because those guys have so much respect for this game. I
Yeah,
think the fact now that they hit the milestone together, the 1,000 games. I think I think now it's like, okay, we hit the milestone. All right, now it's time to rock and roll. Let's go see if we can go someplace else. If we have to split up, great. But again, it comes back to what we talked about at the beginning: salary cap. Our team's gonna have the
to
money
do
to make
anything.
it, to do anything, and cap space is at such a premium. And you see all these teams streaking, but you don't really know what they are. Like you
Right.
have, are they true contenders? Are they buyers? Are they sellers? Like what kind of activity? We know what teams could pick up cap space. Arizona,
Yeah.
Columbus, Chicago probably be a team that can orchestrate deals. The usual suspects. But where you go from there, who knows? And are we going to see this continued pattern of roller coaster up and down kind of deal where we don't know what team is week to week or section to section, because that's kind of my feeling right now is we really don't know who these teams are,
Right.
outside of maybe one or two. I think I know who the Carolina Hurricanes are. Like, I know who they are. I think I know who the Pittsburgh Penguins are.
Well,
Boston, I know who is, but Toronto and Tampa, like, I know those teams. But out in the West, maybe outside of Vegas, is Dallas a true contender? Is Winnipeg? Can Winnipeg keep this going? Like, Seattle too.
yeah, there's a lot of question marks. I would say right now, if you put me on the spot and said, okay, is Dallas one? I would say yes, just
Right.
because they have guys like Pavelski. Look, Sagan finally looks healthy after 2 years. I mean, look, for people that don't know, Sagan, for all intents and purposes, should never have been able to play hockey again. And the fact that he's even remotely close to the level he was is a testament to the modern miracles of medical science.
Right.
Because I mean, there's an injuries, and then there's when your stuff is detached from other stuff, like literally displaced inside of your body. That's on a level that you know we can't even understand. It's pretty scary.
And even Jamie Benn with Dallas, he's back to it. But again, these guys are now role players, and they don't
They
have
can
to
step back.
lead. They can
Yeah,
step back a little bit. You got Rupe Hintz, you got Robertson, you got Pavelski, you got all those guys doing it. And Winnipeg, you got Pierre Luc Dubois, a guy who's like, oh, I'm not going to resign here. Well, maybe he might, the way the season's going now.
yeah. It looks pretty. I mean, it looks pretty good in Winnipeg. I mean, I don't know how long that's going to last. I mean, this is a Rick Bonus coach team.
Yeah, but I mean, again, is it like Pete DeBoer first year? Okay, it's good.
Maybe it might be. I mean, maybe for all we know, maybe it took 3 stops, and he's finally turned over a new. we don't really know. But the one thing that we do know, and it's working in Winnipeg, is Connor Hellebuck is Vezina Connor Hellebuck again.
And it helps when Josh Morrissey is Norris Trophy.
This is insane. All right, so for perspective, right? Morrissey has 6 goals on the year already. I think he scored his 6th last night against Ottawa.
And he's got a 10-game point streak for a defenseman.
10-game point streak in Winnipeg. Okay, he has 38 points on the season. Jim?
Yeah.
You know how many points he had last year?
Probably like 15.
Nah, surprisingly enough, 37. He had 12 goals.
Oh, okay.
So check this out. You want to check out heaters. Here we go. So Morrissey has 6 goals in 32 games. All right, so that puts him on about 16 goal pace, approximately 15.
Give or take.
All right, so he has 38 points in 32 games. Here's the goofball. Here's where you get to some of the goofball parts in this. Okay, now he was an active player on the power play last year at 15 power play points, pretty close to his career highs in his early days in Winnipeg. He has 14 already, including a career high 13 power play assists. He's shooting at over 12%. So there are numbers that are just ridiculously absurd here. But, and this is what I say now to people, because of COVID, we do not have a legitimate sort of litmus test of what these players are going to do, because this is a normalized season with actual breaks.
Right, exactly. It's an 82-game regular season starting in October, no break, no 2 weeks off, no. It's a regular.
We're not stopping due to COVID. We're not quarantined.
No, and Brandon makes a great point. Lundqvist, had a decent season, and he's been a great pickup for Dallas. I mean, he was buried in the Rangers lineup on the defense. He was never going to see the light of day. Like you said, the Caps are back from the dead. I mean, but still, I mean, again, the way this thing is okay. We're back to a normal 82-game regular season.
Yep.
But now we're going to talk about changing it. Let it simmer for a little bit. Let's get back to having 82-game regular season and enjoying it for now before we move to this 84-game proposed schedule. Now, again, it's all discussion. It's all discussion because the National Hockey League Players Association has to approve this. But they want to play more rivalry games. They want to, lessen travel. Okay, so every team plays 4 inside your division. Okay, that makes sense. 3 outside. And then you got to play the other 32 games. I got no problem with that. But again, the wear and tear on the body, the injuries. Okay, hockey-related revenue. What are the players getting out of it?
Right now they're getting drilled with escrow still.
Exactly. But is there an appetite at all from the league to do this? Because I don't know if there really is, because I think 82 games is good enough. I think it's really the fact that the playoff format needs to be changed back to 1 through 8. But we talked about that last week. But the 84 games, to me, I just don't like it. There doesn't need to be another 2 games added to the season when the season is long enough. In fact, it really should just go the other way.
We've argued that for some. I mean, look, there is a gold standard proposal that's been around for, I would say, Jim, maybe about 8-10 years from Doc Emmerich, where he basically mapped out a 76-game schedule, and you had more rivalry games, you had some neutral site games mixed in, and you could still fit this all in and spread out the regular season just enough where you could start a couple weeks earlier. You could start like the 1st of October and end probably
middle of June
at the very latest, and award a Stanley Cup and have a little bit of time built in for, dreaded wear and tear. I mean, look, injuries are up this year because, again, we hate to harp on this, but it's that reality. This schedule keeps going, and we have players getting sick, but it's not COVID.
Yeah.
Um, I see it, from a press standpoint. I know a couple of guys that I work with. One guy's been sick for about 2-3 weeks with that I guess it's the upper
Are you the
respiratory.
RSV?
And what's weird is some people get that as a precursor to COVID, and some people get that after COVID. So
Yeah.
and some people just flat out get it. So for those who think there's a rhyme or reason, or I'm going to get one, I'm going to get the other,
No.
this is not, this is a lot because of what happened last year. We spent so much time protecting ourselves that we forgot, well, maybe we should, I don't know,
Still
take care of our
protect ourselves.
bodies,
Yeah, exactly.
take care of our bodies a little bit, get out there a little, get a little, mingle a little, God forbid.
Right.
I know, Chris Kringle, but
Eh.
this is the thing, and it goes back to this thing of going from an 82 to an 84 game schedule. I can still remember this because, well, I was in high school then, giving away my age slightly, but 1992 is when we had the 84 game schedule.
Coming off a strike.
It's coming off that dispute where
Dispute.
now again, it seems like every time this league is on a really good upswing, and I can't take credit for this. One of my friends in Arkansas, of all places, came up with this sort of like manifest like crap on yourself type theory, and we now call it just simply Arkansas case theory.
Right.
It's like when you're doing too well, you inevitably have to do something to screw it up.
Right. Exactly.
And people are like, no. And well, look at what the league did in the mid '90s. They had that awesome rivalry. You came off that epic Devils Rangers 2-year period where it's like, this looks great. The classic series, the series against Vancouver. Hockey was at an all-time high. It was about to overtake baseball and even the NBA. And then, boom.
Lockout.
And that killed everything. And then a decade again, they did the same thing. You had a couple great seasons, and then boom, we do it again.
Lockout.
I mean, so
again, the word rivalry, I know everybody wants to base it on the fact that Edmonton and Calgary only played 3 times this year, and that's on the schedule maker for not putting them later in the season.
What's that cluster where they play twice in October, and then don't play, and then they don't play at all? It's like,
yeah, I mean, that's just on the schedule maker for not doing a better job of balancing out the schedule.
Yep.
But again, rivalry. I mean, all right. So say we had 4 rivalry games, or divisional games. I mean, does anybody really want to see the Devils in Columbus 4 times? Like,
Devils do.
Devils do, yeah. Well, right now they want to see Columbus.
Especially now, since Columbus is so crippled that they can barely field an NHL roster.
Right. But then go to the West, Arizona, Dallas.
Oh no!
I mean,
no. Although if it's like game 81 Arizona, you might want to.
Right, exactly. But again, I've also heard and the idea I have is, and I saw somebody write this one up. You can steal my stuff. That's okay. Just credit me. That's fine. Is you save games 83 and 84 for if you want to have your extra rivalry game, you save it for then. So for instance, you play 4. Well, my idea is you play 4 in your division.
Right.
You take because you're gonna take those 3 away. You're gonna take 1 away from the Atlantic, and then you play the West, or however it works there. But then you have games left over, and you can rotate that game around.
You could.
Those games around. But you still have 82 games. It's not 84. You're still rotating. 84. You're rotating the other games around. And or you could just build it in. Or as Cooley said this afternoon, okay, we love Edmonton, Calgary so much. How about every year it's built in and they play 4 times?
Yeah, this isn't hard. I mean,
this really isn't hard. We're making it more complicated than it needs to be.
But this is always the way it is with hockey, Jim.
I know it is. It really is. We're taking something that's really good and going to try to make it really complicated. And I understand hockey-related revenue and this and that, but the players want stuff out of it besides money. And I don't think, as Frank Saravalli said, I don't think even if they wiped away the escrow, the players are going to be like, no. Like, what else do they gonna get? And you know what they want. It's the World Cup. They want to be in the
Yep.
Olympics, and they want something else too. And they want that salary cap to go up, and it's again tied all back in. Okay, maybe we can get the salary cap up again. Maybe the 84 games helps, but what about all this other revenue that's coming into this league? You know, TV contracts, jersey
Yeah.
sit ads,
Right.
helmet ads. I mean, I understand they still owe escrow, but at what point do we look at it and be like, okay, you want to do all this stuff, but why are you keeping things down?
At some look. Wow, we're gonna quote. We're almost gonna quote Blues Traveler here.
Right,
You
no.
know why are we gonna go slow things down when all we want to do is speed things up? Classic song, Runaround.
Right, exactly.
Why you go give me a runaround? Surefire, surefire way to speed things up when all we do is slow things down. And that's kind of where the NHL is right now, in a nutshell. I mean, that two-line lyric is where the NHL is right now,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody wants to say it, but nobody wants to really do anything about it.
And I know it'll be on the GM's meetings agenda in
Right.
March. I think if I think if Gary has anything to say about it and Bill Daly, they'll probably say no right away. I think they'll say no. I think they're gonna want their normal season. I think they're gonna want, you know, to have a couple of more years of this normalcy back before they do anything. And yeah, okay, players are gonna have less preseason games and shorter training camp. Big deal. So what? Um,
That's a good thing, honestly, at this
it
point.
is a good thing. I mean, because it's just extra revenue for the owners. The players don't see a dime. And you see, like, Montreal and Toronto play, like, 9 preseason games. I'm like, why? Like, why? Like, it
Because they're
makes the.
Montreal and Toronto.
Exactly, pretty much. But it's going to be interesting to see where this goes. It's not going away anytime soon. Um, Same with the salary cap stuff. Hopefully, we get better projections come March, and the salary cap doesn't go up only by $1 million. It goes up by 3-4 million, and we'll see. I mean, we know Gary doesn't want expanded playoffs, which I'm totally for because well, I don't want to reward mediocrity, but you know, rewarding something and somebody for doing something good is a good thing, and that's where we are with Alex Ovechkin, who is stuck on 800. We talked about, we've talked about Alex, his chase for Wayne Gretzky and how, you know, he's one behind Gordie Howe for 801. He had the hat trick
Mm-hmm.
last week, which was remarkable, the OV watch. And, what he's done and how he's carried his team. And, it felt like Monday he should have done something, right? I mean, oh my God, he had a glorious opportunity
Yep.
in the second period that went off the post.
We were
On
both
a,
talking about this too. I
yeah,
mean, it was like we're talking about it live on Twitter, and I'm like, that didn't go in.
no, it
Now,
didn't go in.
now the thing is, because of the way my setup is upstairs in my quote unquote office, I'm actually a little bit ahead when I stream than most people are or should be.
Right.
It's
Usually you're behind.
Yeah, usually I'm behind, but now because of Fubo, I'm ahead by a few seconds, which is a little bit
Weird.
weird to get used to. But I mean, I have it with even wrestling pay-per-views and such now. It's like people will be like, "Well, I haven't seen that yet," and I'm like, "Give it about 7 seconds." Um,
You
but
got like you almost got like the radio feed because the radio feed's ahead of the TV
yes,
feed.
yes. I used to laugh at that in the early '90s. It's like it's something that you take for granted now. That then it was like you hung on every word of Mike Miller, for those back in the day.
Yo, Devil's
Uh,
Rug, yes,
yep,
yes.
you hung because that was at least a good 15, 20 seconds ahead of the TV feed, and you could tell the difference. I mean, it was downright funny in the older days. Um, so again, we're talking about a lot of the same things. With Ovechkin especially, this has been tons of fun. You want to see it happen before Christmas.
I mean, he's got 2 chances to do it before Christmas. I
I
mean,
think
look,
I think he's doing it. I
I
mean,
think he's doing it too, and I think our colleague Murray's gonna see it
I hope
Thursday night.
so. I
I
hope
hope he
so.
sees it. I hope he sees at least some sort of history where Ovechkin ties it, if
Yep.
not breaks it.
Yeah,
Because
let's get Murray a historical moment that's a little less controversial than say the Montreal screw job.
yeah, let's not go down that path for those of us who are Bret Hart fans. All right, we're talking about, but
I hear it, but for hockey fans out there, this is something. Look, I get it, and there's a it's the elephant in the room, and it has to be said. There are some in the hockey community. I get it, the whole Putin thing. Look, I understand. I get that, but
right, I get it too.
but this is this is history. We're not seeing this again.
Oh, no
Look,
chance.
I will look if I'm wrong, and in 50 years they dig up my body and they say, "Hi, you were wrong." Okay, so be it. But
A
this,
natural pure goal scorer like this, the best pure goal scorer the game has ever seen.
I mean, look, everybody knows what's coming, and they still can't stop it.
Right. I mean,
I
Detroit did it the other night, but
they got a little lucky too.
yeah,
The
they
little
did.
friendly ping,
They did.
but they played it like a lot of teams do, and it still most times doesn't matter. Now, like we said, we wouldn't be surprised at some point if Ovechkin like kind of pivots around at some
He
point.
started to on Monday.
So you're gonna see a little bit more of that, perhaps either tonight or tomorrow night. You know.
I wouldn't be shocked if they're up by one or two and he hadn't scored yet and the net's empty. He's out there on the ice.
Yeah, I mean well. I mean, we joke, he has quite a few empty net goals as
Well,
well. But
53 empty net goals. Gretzky's record's 57, so
that's
he's
the
not too
one.
far. He's not too far away from
Yeah,
that one.
that's the one he probably breaks first, ironically.
Yeah, exactly. But no, I mean, look, it's history. What this guy's doing. Obviously, the Russian connection, but you know what? The fact of the matter is he loves the NHL. He's had opportunities to go home. He's not doing it. He won a Stanley Cup, and I think he's gotten better as a goal scorer. And since the monkey's come off his back, and he's played a lot better, and he's toned down his game a little bit. Not as physical, still physical, but not like he was in his early days. But the highlight reel goals are still there. The energy, the excitement, the fun, and as he told his kids, that's his job. He has to go score goals. But
Yeah,
the thing is you know this Capitals team's getting healthier, and his goal totals may even go up now if Backstrom's going to come back and if Wilson's coming back.
I think Wilson is the big boost. He doesn't have to be physical, and he has somebody on his line that can create space. I mean, look, nobody knows how Backstrom is going to be. I mean, look, when you have hip scaling like he did, we really don't know. I mean, I hope he's even 80-90% of what he was, just because Backstrom is, I would say, one of maybe the top 10 or 15 passers
Oh, easily.
in the history of the league.
Absolutely,
I
absolutely,
mean,
100%. I agree with that.
his on ice vision is 2015, and the only
That's
reason why
ridiculous.
we kind of know this is because thanks to Ted Starkey, who has a really good old time book if you want to read it called
Yeah,
Red Rising. I don't just highly recommend it. I put my money where my mouth is. I've read it. We've had him on a bunch of shows. We'll eventually get him on probably close to the playoffs here. As we open up the vault to some perhaps some interviews.
I hope so. Round the corner.
It's the plan.
That's the plan. Round the
But
corner.
it's around the corner. But again, this is a lot of fun. Look, he hasn't scored in 3 games. You kind of get that feeling like,
He's pressing. He's definitely pressing a
he's
little
pressing
bit.
a little bit. But you know what? It's good for bettors because it pushes that anytime goal prop just a little higher each time. So, it's like it's inching up a tiny bit, and it makes it interesting out there tonight. Like we said, with this balanced schedule, here's what I would love to see, and we'll tie this in with the NHL TV, etc. We get a flex into Ovi.
Oh, we have to get flexes into Ovi. I mean, that's like my biggest beef with this thing right now, is that this guy's chasing history, and it's like not nothing like in the United States. Like we should be flexing in
Yep.
to these games.
We
It
would be
doesn't.
doing that. We would be doing this if, say,
Oh,
somebody
Aaron
was
Judge
taking.
was hitting home runs.
Yeah, we were flexing in every. I mean, we were flexing in past presidential press conferences. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, look, Ovi's got the Jets, and then he's got Ottawa and Winnipeg back to back. I think
ooh, Ottawa,
the
huh?
Ottawa and Winnipeg. I think
Mm.
he's got chances to do it here. And I mean, if I'm ESPN, I mean, I gotta be breaking in anytime he's got the puck or something. Even NHL Network. I mean,
And
I
it's
gotta be breaking
slow.
in.
And it's a slow time because of let's face it, the bowl season doesn't kind of crank up until next Wednesday,
Yeah,
Thursday anyway.
next week is when bowl season really cranks up. So
So I mean, if you're looking at it in this way, it's like, well, opportunities, and you could look. All right, so I gotta laugh at this one.
like I
This one
like
was
that one.
good.
That was good. I like that one.
He could, legitimately, Braden brings up a great point. He could break it in one period against Ottawa right now.
The way they've been playing defensively, yes.
Yeah, they're hurting. I mean, shoot, he could do it against Vancouver. If only he was playing Vancouver, he could have done it in 5 minutes.
That's
Um,
true.
you just get 2 power plays. That'll probably be good enough. Maybe even against Calgary, although Markstrom finally did start looking a little bit like himself last night,
Yeah, I
late
mean
in
it
the
was
game.
kind of
So.
weird, kind of weird. Sharks are Calgary's in San Jose back to back for like a mini series. Again, the scheduling, like
I
the
told you, they're
scheduling.
like these little quirks that you see with the schedule. This is like the third or fourth time we've seen this like double road game thing, where and all right, so someone asked me, it's like, is this just the NHL? And I'm like, no, this happened in the NBA a couple times this season already too.
Yeah,
I think like maybe it was Miami and Chicago or something. They played twice back to back nights. So I mean, I don't know. Maybe they're drinking the magic juice.
look,
I
look,
don't know.
look. I know we're talking OV and everything, but again,
Mm-hmm.
ties back to everything, the overall theme. If you want to expand the season and do whatever, make sure you schedule smarter, not harder. And look,
It's
and
true.
instead of cramping everything together, but the fact is, Ovi's got a chance to do something. You hope he gets it done before the holidays. He's pressing. And the fact of the matter is, it's something momentous and it should be acknowledged. I know, again, the whole Russian connection, who cares? The guy is one of the best pure goal scorers in NHL today,
Mm-hmm.
if not in NHL history. And he wants the Gretzky record. He's going to get it. And the Caps are just on fire while he's scoring goals, and even when he's not, they're playing well too. So it's going to be interesting to see what he does down the stretch.
Yeah, I mean, I joked even maybe he does it in New York City next Tuesday night, but I don't think we're making it that far to be
No,
bluntly honest. And if it does, then I'm just gonna eat a whole bunch of crow. Either way.
either way, it's definitely going to happen. He's passing Howe, and the way his goal scoring
Yeah,
streak is,
this is where it starts getting fun though. It really is.
it really is. And if he passes Howe, he's going to pass Gretzky. And the next question is 1,000 goals. Again, we brought it up here first last week, so I'm taking credit for it because everybody piggybacked off of it.
Yep,
Um, and we have the video and we have the audio to back it up. So,
we do. I, I
Chris,
I've said it. 900, yes. 1,000, no.
no, um, it could be close. We'll see. It all depends on how many years he has left, his body. How many does he just want the record and say I did it? I beat you by one, like it's the Price is Right. Haha, I get to go to the showcase showdown and beat you.
I do think
Um,
he wants to get the 900.
I
I
think
think
he
he wants to
definitely
set a
wants
nice. He
900.
wants a nice round number.
Absolutely, absolutely. It just sees how much the body gives. Okay, Chris. All right, so you asked for holiday fun. What do you got in store for us as we close the show out?
All right, so look for everybody out there, it's not a secret that we want to focus on some fun, and it's the holidays. It's Christmas on Sunday this year, which I understand throws everybody off. You're trying to get those last minute gifts, the decorations, the food, of course, the food.
Okay.
Gotta have the food. Um, but funny enough, and more importantly for us, Yes, there is the injury ninja. That's right.
Injury ninja, baby,
The
never
injury
sleeps.
ninja does not sleep, does not take breaks, does not, um, you know, does not follow a conventional set of any kind of rules whatsoever, and just enjoys wreaking havoc on everything that is the NHL and other sports. It's not a secret. Obviously, we have things like the Worlds are coming up on Monday.
World
Um,
Juniors, baby.
we have to go into this a little bit just because, hey, what are you going to do on Monday? You're going to watch hockey.
It's
That's
World
right.
Juniors. They're here.
They're here. We got obviously 10 teams, at least probably 3 or 4 that can win it this
If
year.
not 3 or 4 that can win it, maybe 5.
Maybe 5.
USA, Canada, obviously. USA, Sweden,
Right there.
Finland, Czechia.
Czechia.
Maybe.
Interesting wild card.
They're getting better.
Made a lot of waves in
Last year's tournament.
I mean, we have to say quote unquote last year's tournament, even though it was 4 months ago.
Yeah, it was last year's tournament 4 months ago.
4 months ago. All right, here's the
and
crazy
yes,
one.
Shane Wright is the captain of Canada. Connor Bedard is a generational talent. Canada, I'm going out on a bold prediction. I think Canada's going to win this thing. They're going to go back to back. Their talent is just so good.
The upset.
Guys going for the upset.
It's an odd year, kids.
Guess what? True. And right. Team, are you going with USA or no?
I'm going with Team USA to win the group, because right now it's plus money.
Oh, absolutely, win the group.
Win the group. And then at plus 350, well, it's going to wobble a little.
I think their odd went up after their nice 2 wins in the pre-tournament.
All right, so for those that don't know, in the pre-tournament, Finland was basically slotted ahead of the U.S. by a whisker. And then the U.S. went at 11 players score a point each and spanked them 5-2.
Right.
Now, again, sometimes these pre-tournament games don't mean squat. And we saw that last year, because the U.S. literally slapped everybody around and then got eliminated in the quarterfinals.
Yeah, but also don't forget those pre-tournament games happened in December, and I think they had some in the summer, and the ones in December were a little bit better for Team USA than they were. They played a little harder, but again, like you said, I mean, obviously everybody associates this time of year with World Juniors, obviously Spangler Cup as well. Mm-hmm. It's going on, but yeah, no, I mean, look, it is an odd year. Usually after they finish poorly, they medal. Mm-hmm. If not medal, they win the tournament.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. 2013 gold. 2015 was like kind of a weird year where they got unlucky. There was a bunch of injuries, so you counted that out.
2017 they won the gold.
2019 they were a post away from winning the gold. 2021 gold. I mean, yeah.
You get the pattern here.
Look. Howard Johnson from the New York Mets called and said, "Hey, I do this in even years, but the U.S. seems to do this in odd number years. It's worth at least a shot." But again, like we said, Finland has the depth and balance,
and they're Finland.
They're kind of an all or nothing team in these tournaments. Last year they almost pulled. Again, a few months ago, they almost pulled off the Worlds against Canada. They probably should have won that game in overtime.
Yeah, well, they would have won all 3 major tournaments.
They were right there. They were right there last year. So, again, it's part of why if you look at the men's Worlds for this year, it's part of the reason why you look, and Finland's actually a very slight favorite over Team Canada. Now, going back to the actual Worlds.
Juniors.
The biggest question is always goaltending.
Yay!
And for once this year, the Americans don't quite have that clear-cut goaltender that they had in previous years. So, the questions that usually haunt Canada on a consistent basis might haunt the U.S. a little bit. I mean, Troy Augustine had a bit of an adventure against Finland, especially early. He got better as the game went on.
I would guess Caden Mbereko is going to start.
I'm thinking he's going to be the one that starts your crucial games that are not in New Brunswick, that are in Halifax.
Right.
Because that's a key point that people have to understand too. This is a dual venue event, so For the U.S.,
And Group B is in
Group B is all in New Brunswick.
is in Moncton, right? Yeah.
Yep, the Avenir Arena, and it's going to be an interesting adjustment. I believe that benefits
Well, you
actually.
always see that crossover when the crossover quarterfinal is depends on where that those quarterfinals take place.
Yep. U.S. has to win their group.
Yeah, it has to.
I mean, Chris Peters put this as succinctly as possible on his Flow Hockey show yesterday. They must win that group. They have to avoid Canada till the final because I do think Canada is very beatable in this tournament. It's just does Canada, let's put it this way, sustain that momentum that they have right now?
I mean, when you got a guy like Connor Bedard playing,
but they're kids, Jim.
They are kids. I mean, and that's the best. That's the beauty of this tournament is that they're kids. This is why it's kids. The ebbs and flows. It's like the ebbs and flows of the hockey season, the ebbs and flows of this tournament. The game to game, the highs and lows, and that's why it makes it so much fun to watch because it's kids, and they're gonna make mistakes. But that's why the hockey's so much fun to watch. Yep. But it's not just outside of the big 4-5. It's the bottom feeders too. Like when the Latvia plays, like Slovakia's, like Switzerland's, like Latvia plays, like those teams are fun to watch too. Those games are great. Germany's going to be better. And, it's a fun tournament. It's a fun time of year because for a few days it takes center stage in the hockey world because there's no NHL.
Exactly. And, as the NHL is coming back, the World Junior still takes center stage because it is kind of a slower part of the NHL season, right, aside from the Winter Classic.
Right.
So, there's a part of A and B where it goes, well, it's because of that. And, you have the end of the group stage.
Day off.
Winter Classic.
Well, but the problem is I think the Classic's on a Monday this year.
It's on the 2nd, right?
Yeah, because the NFL's on Sunday.
Well, I mean, you'll get
you get a lot of hockey that day.
You're gonna look. All right, so obviously for everybody, we do the show on a split screen. Guess what? You're going to be doing a lot of on Monday, probably.
Oh, you probably have a lot more than just 2 screens, buddy.
You're gonna hold on. Wait a minute. I got this. Wait, hold on. Let's see if we can do this real quick. Wait, we're gonna do the screen there. The screen on the computer. Geez, Jim. There's a lot of screens.
Yeah, but you know what? That's what makes the holidays fun because you got a lot to watch. Yep. There's a lot of things going on, and you're with your family.
Yeah,
and everybody loves it.
And that's the part where we get I think about the closest to serious that we get on this show.
Exactly.
From all of us here at Full Press Hockey to everybody listening out there, we want to wish it. Look, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah. Because look, I know quite a few Jewish people.
I have a special lady in my life that is.
I know I have to get up there. It's like I'm being told. Like it's been drilled into me. It's like Chris, you need. I know. I gotta.
I have my girlfriend Amanda is of the Jewish faith, and I will have a nice celebration with her family on Friday. So it will be very nice. But we also celebrate Christmas too, so it's very fun, and it's the time of year where everything happens, and it's nice that there's not a lot going on because you have the time with the family and the friends and everybody before everything gets kicked going again, and it's just been a great year here. What we're doing here on Full Press Hockey, the things that we've, the site's growing, the Twitter followers, everything that we've done, the shows, just. Thankful for the opportunities, and obviously we rock and roll, and we try to do this every week, and we try to bring the best every week. So guys, thank you so much for the support that you've given us, and our producer, to people that watch us, everybody.
That Boston guy,
yeah, exactly.
Whose team keeps winning. By the way, he's one of those teams that hasn't had that 5 or 6 game losing. Oh wait, we just jinxed it. Then
right, exactly, we did.
Starting Friday. Oh wait.
But thank you, everybody, for tuning in tonight here on a Wednesday, a final episode before the holidays. We want to wish everybody happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, and a happy, safe New Year, healthy, blessed. For Jim Berenger, this has been Full Press Hockey Weekly here on Full Press NHL Twitter, Full Press Radio. You can find it Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, Facebook. Chris, have a great holiday, buddy.
You too, Jim. We'll be probably watching the World Juniors together, going, "What? It's
What?
like that happened?" You know, and just
Exactly.
mixed with the hockey. You know, we have AHL. We have lots of things going on, ladies and gentlemen. It's just because we take a break doesn't mean the hockey world does.
No, it doesn't. Sports don't take a break, but we will. Again, everybody have a great holiday. Be safe, enjoy the night, and have a good one, and we'll see you real soon.